She gets everything, even the kids. That's what her lawyer said, right there, in front of my co-workers, holding the envelope like it was a gift basket. The court's already heard from them. He leaned in. They don't even want your name anymore. I didn't flinch, just smiled, pulled a sealed envelope from my coat pocket and handed it over. Deliver this to your client. Then I turned and walked out. No raised voice, no theatrics, just a slow exhale, and a round of fake casual glances from the nurse's station. 12 years of marriage, down to a Tuesday delivery. I'm Evan McCall, 43, senior clinical tech at Cedar Valley Medical. I help fix things that can't afford to break, machines or people. My ex-wife Marissa used to say I was dependable to a fault, until she decided faults were unforgivable. It wasn't sudden. It was surgical. First came the late nights, then the locked phone, then the change in perfume, then the soft launch of a new social life I wasn't invited to. I kept showing up, at work, at home, at every parent-teacher conference and dance recital. When the hospital cut hours last year, I picked up extra shifts and kept the mortgage current. When Marissa asked for space, I gave her the master bedroom and moved into the guest room. When she forgot our anniversary, I left flowers anyway, in the kitchen, quietly. She called it emotional manipulation. My daughter, Brooke, called it cringe. That part hurt more than the papers. On my way out of the hospital, Dan from radiology caught up to me near the elevators. Everything good? He asked. I nodded. They're upgrading me to part-time father. Perks include 0 visitation and paying for everything. Dan blinked. I patted his shoulder. You're doing fine with the new intern. Keep him off the contrast machine, though. At home, Brooke's coat was crumpled in the entryway. I picked it up, folded it, placed it gently on the armrest of the couch. The dad shelf was still there, just empty like my title. In the corner, a photo frame. Us 3 at Lake Crescent 2 summers ago. I turned it face down. Not with anger, just gravity. The garage door was cracked. 3 moving boxes lined the edge, all labeled with Marissa's handwriting. The last one had a sticky note. Misk, Evan. Inside, an old college hoodie, half a razor, and a framed photo of our dog. Not me, just the dog, with a new sticker on the glass. Brooke's real family. I closed the lid, went to my room, wallet on the nightstand, keys next to it, and a folded paper, barely holding together at the seams. Good luck on your surgery today, Dad. Scrawled in colored marker from when Brooke was 8. She used to be on my team. I slipped it back into the wallet. Then the phone buzzed. Unknown number. Voicemail. From her mother. Shaky voice. Words blurred. How could you know a 13-year-old secret? What did you find? I didn't hit replay. Just stood there, watching my own reflection in the dark window. Wondering if she saw it too. The part of me that never left. I opened the nightstand drawer, pulled out the envelope I'd handed her lawyer. On top now, a new sticky note. My handwriting. For legal use only. Timing matters. I met Vincent Mahler at a corner cafe 4 blocks from the hospital. Not fancy, just quiet. He arrived 2 minutes late. No tie, no briefcase, just a slim folder and eyes that didn't blink much. I read the motion, he said, sliding into the booth. This is personal. Isn't it always? He didn't smile. Vincent had worked family law for 20 years, mostly on the cleanup end. Divorces, custody corrections, estate splits after ugly funerals. The kind of man who looked at a birthday photo and saw leverage. You sure you want to go through with this? He asked. I sipped the burnt coffee. Would I be here if I wasn't? He nodded, but his fingers tapped once on the folder. This could destroy her, he said. The DNA confirmation is strong, but timing matters. Intent matters. I'm not looking to destroy anyone, I said. Just set the record straight. Custody battles don't reward righteousness, he said. They reward precision, documentation, optics. He paused, then added, and silence, when needed. I've got 12 years of that. Back at Cedar Valley, Dan caught me near the vending machine. "You okay, man?" I shrugged. "Vincent says I'm about to become a much more interesting client." He raised an eyebrow. "Is that the guy from your dad's estate?" "Nope. New game. Higher stakes." Dan handed me a soda from the machine. "Don't implode." "Thanks for the confidence." As I turned to leave, he added, "You should have taken that position in Spokane." "I like broken machines and dying printers," I said. "They don't file motions." That night, I pulled a box from the hallway closet. Third shelf, back corner, behind old blankets and a busted space heater. Inside, photos, receipts, 2 school ID badges, and a set of documents I hadn't touched in years. One of them had a date highlighted in yellow. May 14th, 2011. 13 years ago. Brooke's birthday was June 22nd. Another envelope was wedged inside the box, thicker, sealed, with my old address scribbled in faint pencil. It wasn't mine, and it wasn't in my handwriting. The next morning, a knock at the door. Courier, anonymous sender. Inside, a printed photo, slightly curled. Marissa in a hospital bed, smiling, alone, no baby in sight. On the back, one sentence, typed. "Ask Brooke what makes someone a parent." No signature, no logo. Just a small smudge of blue ink near the corner, the kind you get from an old notary stamp. I called Vincent. "She's moving fast," he said. "You need to be faster." "How?" He paused. "Find the original intake forms, hospital registry, admission data, anything with the OB signature. And if I do, then we build a narrative that doesn't start in June. It starts in March." I opened the drawer again that evening. The envelope I'd given her lawyer was still there, now with one new note clipped to the top. Timeline inconsistencies, cross-reference with OB/GYN logs. Below it, 2 tabs marked in red. Custody petition, motion A. Paternity challenge, contingency B. For the first time in a week, I allowed myself a half smile. I wasn't playing defense anymore. I was preparing the board. At midnight, I texted Brooke. "Hey, hope school's going okay. Found your old drawing from 2nd grade, the one with the robot dog and me holding your hand. Still my favorite." No reply, just the silent status dots. I didn't expect one, but I needed her to know. I wasn't vanishing. Not this time. 2 days later, I walked into Cedar Valley's records department, asked for a box with my name on it. They knew me. I'd fixed half their machines in the last decade. The clerk, Maya, gave me a look. "You good, Evan?" I smiled, just tying loose ends. Inside the box, reports, memos, and 1 scanned fax from a closed clinic on East 9th. Marissa's name was on the referral, but not mine. And the father's name? Left blank. I took a photo, filed it, didn't say a word. Vincent called that night. Paperwork came in, their sides requesting expedited mediation. No DNA rebuttal, just a sealed response. "That's panic," I said. "Correct," he replied. "And Brooke?" "She's still listed as a minor, but her voice could matter. Judges listen at 16. I looked at the window, rain tapping. She used to leave me sticky notes on the bathroom mirror. "Don't forget coffee. Smile more. You're the best dad." Sentiment isn't strategy, Evan. "I know," I said. "But strategy without sentiment, that's how she got here." Before bed, I found one last item in the box. A birthday card Brooke made when she was 9. Inside, in glitter pen. "No matter what Mom says, you're my real dad." I pressed it flat, put it next to the envelope, then added a new note in black ink. Motion C, personal testimony, timing TBD. Not yet filed, but ready. The board was set, pieces in place. Next move was mine. The next morning, the mailbox held an envelope, no return address. Inside, a photo, grainy, scanned from an old print, A baby in a hospital crib, Marissa beside it. No date. But taped to the back was a sticky note. Handwritten. Check the admission forms. She made a choice. Now she has to live with it. No signature. Just a scribbled circle, like a coffee ring or fingerprint. Who sent it? Didn't matter. I knew what it meant. I pulled the case folder from my desk drawer, slid the photo inside, and locked it. For 12 years, I'd been the man who showed up. Now, I was the man with leverage. And the next hearing was on Monday. Julia Sampson didn't waste time. The meeting was already set for Thursday, 3:15 p.m., Family Court Annex. Wear something that says responsible but also screw you, she'd texted. I replied with a thumbs-up emoji. She sent back a gavel. I liked her. That morning, I dropped off forms at Brooke's school. At the front desk, the secretary smiled and pulled up a file. Then her tone shifted, just a little. Oh, looks like your ex-wife already updated the emergency contacts. You're not listed anymore. I'll add a note for now, just in case. My stomach stayed still, but something cold settled behind my ribs. Not fear, not even surprise. Just another quiet deletion. On the way out, I stopped by the glass case near the counselor's office. There was a new flyer. Custody disputes and child resilience. Below it, a stack of brochures. I took one, just to see what lies looked like in bullet points. At home, my son's backpack was on the kitchen floor, unzipped. Inside, a school project folder and a crumpled checklist labeled Weekly Goals, 3 columns. Column 1, Homework, all marked Mom. Column 2, Meals, all marked Mom. Column 3, Time with Dad, empty. I didn't get angry, just stared. Then folded it twice and placed it under the magnet on the fridge, the one shaped like a tiny stethoscope. Julia's office wasn't fancy, just a well-used laptop, overstuffed binders, and a framed quote on the wall. Don't mistake silence for weakness. She read the documents while chewing on a pen cap. Her eyes moved like a scanner. This is clean, she said. Too clean. You've got a case. She paused. You sure you want this? She's trying to erase me, I said. That's not the same as abuse, she replied. But it's close enough to matter, if we show intent. I pulled out the envelope from my coat pocket. Inside, the document with the note, DNA, legal implications, minor children. She raised an eyebrow. You're playing chess. She made me. Later that night, I tried calling Brooke, straight to voicemail. Then I tried again. She answered. Dad, I can't talk right now, she whispered. Where are you? In Mom's room. She's on a call with the lawyer. Something about filings. Filings. It was like hearing your own funeral plans read aloud through the walls. Okay, I said. Good night. I didn't add I love you. Not because I didn't mean it, but because I knew she wasn't alone. And I didn't want my words twisted into ammunition. At 11:47 p.m., Tanya texted. Judge assigned, Merritt, custody orientation in 5 days. Need a formal statement before Monday. I stared at the screen, then glanced toward the sketch pad on the shelf, the one where Brooke used to draw with her Crayola markers on Saturday mornings. It was still there. On the last page, faint from being folded and reopened a dozen times. A cartoon of our family. Stick figures, sure, but unmistakable. Me with a tie and a smile. Brooke in the middle. Marissa with her old red scarf. I turned the page. Blank. On Thursday morning, I showed up early. Tanya was already inside, setting files on the desk. Judge Merritt is sharp, she said. Fair, ex-military. I nodded. So he hates BS. Exactly. Which is why we're going to need more than omission and innuendo. I have a statement. Let me guess, handwritten, annotated, and mildly sarcastic? Correct. She smiled, then stopped. What's your angle, Evan? I looked her in the eye. I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to remind the court who's still here. She studied me, then said, Then you better hope that envelope you gave her lawyer isn't the loudest thing in the room. Before I could answer, The door opened. Marissa walked in, poised, hair tied back, lips flat. She looked right past me, and beside her, another man, early 40s, expensive shoes, thin tablet in hand. Marissa leaned in and said, just loud enough for me to hear, "This is Daniel, our parenting coordinator." I blinked. Tanya looked at me like, "Do not lose your cool here." I didn't. Instead, I leaned slightly toward Daniel and said, "Pleasure. You ever help a child process the fact that their mother lied about their bloodline for 13 years? His face twitched. Tanya's pen froze midair. I turned to my ex-wife. She didn't blink, but her cheeks flushed. That was enough for now. The old file box hadn't seen daylight in years. Tucked behind spare cables and a busted humidifier, it sat in the garage like a forgotten time capsule. I placed it on the passenger seat, brushed off the dust, and drove to the pediatric clinic. Not because I needed a doctor, because 13 years ago, a different receptionist handled check-ins. And 13 years ago, that receptionist made a handwritten error in the family contact sheet, one I remembered fixing. "Hey, Evan," said the nurse at the desk. "Back so soon?" "Just dropping off some updated insurance docs," I said, handing her a plain envelope. "Also, my ex-wife asked me to verify some paperwork. Kid stuff." She nodded, barely glancing at the envelope. Inside, a photocopy of Brooke's patient record from her first visit. Mother, Marissa Quinn. Father, unknown. Paternity not declared at birth. I didn't take a copy, just noted what I needed and walked out. By noon, Tanya was waiting in a corner booth of a quiet cafe, legal pad already open. "I want to submit a revision to the custody filing," I said, sliding a second envelope across the table. "Use this. No fanfare, no threat, just add it to the record." She opened it, eyes narrowing as she read. "You sure?" "I'm not after drama, just clarity." Tanya nodded once. "Then I'll do it quietly." I sipped my coffee. "Also check if any prior legal acknowledgments of paternity were signed, just in case." She didn't ask why. That's why I hired her. The next day, Marissa's email came through at 7:04 a.m. sharp. Subject, inappropriate legal escalation. Body, Evan, I thought we agreed to keep things civil. Involving a lawyer unnecessarily creates tension where there doesn't need to be any. I hope this is not about retaliation. Marissa, no greeting, no sign-off, just weaponized formality. At 7:06 a.m., I deleted it. Brooke was colder that evening. "Why are you doing this?" she snapped after school. "Doing what?" "Mom said you're trying to take us away, that you're digging up things that don't matter." I paused. "Do you think they don't matter?" She looked away. "I don't know. I just want things to go back to normal." "Me too," I said. "But you're growing up. You get to decide what normal looks like." That confused her more than anything I could have yelled. 2 nights later, I parked outside a modest tools and hardware store on the East End. Not for tools. For Grant Lewis, a guy who used to bartend with Marissa back in the day. I didn't introduce myself, just walked the aisle until we crossed paths. "Grant," I said with a nod. "Don't worry, I'm not here to cause trouble." He squinted. "Do I know you?" "No. But we both know someone who likes French roast, can't parallel park, and hums Adele when she's mad." He tensed. "Look, that was a long time ago." "Relax," I said. "I'm not here to shame anyone. Just wanted to see what you looked like." He didn't ask why. He knew. I left with a pack of batteries I didn't need. That weekend, I printed 2 documents, one for Tanya, one for myself. The second went into a sealed envelope and into the small fire safe under my bed. As I was locking it, Brooke walked in. "Sleeping over at Lily's," she said flatly. "Mom already said it's fine." "You don't need my permission, Brooke. You're old enough to make your own decisions." She grabbed her charger from the dresser, turned to leave. "By the way," I said, "that stuffed bear on your shelf, the one with the missing ear?" She froze. I stitched it back together the night before your tonsil surgery. You wouldn't sleep without it. She didn't respond, just stood there, then left. When the front door shut, I leaned against the drawer and exhaled. On the sealed envelope, I scribbled one more line. Pending custody addendum, final submission. And under it, one word in all caps. Truth. The petition went in on a Monday, filed, signed, stamped, attached with documentation that rattled even the courthouse clerk. By Tuesday morning, Marissa's attorney had sent 2 emails, left a voicemail, and tried calling twice from a blocked number. I didn't answer. By Wednesday, Brooke was sick from school. The school secretary, who'd known me since orientation, mentioned Marissa had pulled her out mid-morning with no notice. Family emergency, she'd said. I nodded and hung up, then sat on the couch, unopened mail in one hand, TV on mute. The framed photo of Brooke at Lake Crescent, the one I had flipped face down weeks ago, was now in the trash. Not out of spite, just timing. Marissa came by unannounced that night. I didn't open the door, just let the Ring camera pick up everything. First, the polite knock, then a sharper one, finally, her voice. Evan, we need to talk. I didn't reply. I know what you're doing. I know what you think you found, but Brooke doesn't need this drama. Another silence, then quieter. She doesn't need to know. I waited for the sound of her heels fading down the porch, then played the clip twice, just to hear that line again. The next day, Tanya, my attorney, called. She's trying to file a temporary restraining order. On what grounds, we're not sure yet. Desperation, I said. Likely. She'll claim mental distress, maybe say you're harassing her with old documents. She's right, they are old. She's also requesting an emergency mediation. I'll attend. You want to be in a room with her? No, I said. But I want her to see I'm not bluffing. The mediation was short. Marissa brought the same lawyer who'd delivered the papers at the hospital. He tried to smile at me like we were old friends. I didn't return it. She wore sunglasses indoors, said she had a migraine. Her lawyer spoke first. We'd like to resolve this quietly. Good, Tanya said. So would we. And the documents. Where were they obtained? Legally, Tanya replied. There's no proof. There is. You'll see it in the court disclosure. Marissa shifted in her seat, then leaned forward. I just want what's best for my daughter. I know, I said calmly. So do I. The mediator glanced between us. I think we're done here, Tanya said. That night, Brooke called. Not a long call, not even a warm one. I don't get it, she said. Why are you doing this? I'm not trying to hurt your mom. But you are. I'm trying to protect you. A pause. I don't need protection, she said. I let her sit in that silence, then replied, I know. She hung up. Thursday morning, I was getting coffee when my phone buzzed. Blocked number. I answered. Evan, a voice I hadn't heard in a while. Soft, fragile. Mrs. Whitaker, Marissa's mother. She's not thinking clearly, she said. I noticed. I'm not defending her. I need to tell you something. I waited. You were always a good father to Brooke. Still am. She asked me a question last night about her blood type. Said it didn't match. My breath caught. She's not stupid, Evan. She's starting to wonder. I never wanted her to find out that way. I know. I'm sorry. Why are you telling me this now? A pause. She found something in Marissa's closet, a box, letters, from someone named Aaron. Silence again. Then, she hasn't told Marissa yet. Did she read them? I don't know. I swallowed. Tell her I love her, even when she hates me. She doesn't hate you, Mrs. Whitaker said. She's just confused. Then she said something else. Quiet. Measured. I never told Marissa, but I knew. I'm sorry. Click. I stared at the screen for a long minute, then looked across the room, at the envelope still on the side table, the draft for the custody hearing, and next to it, a folded sheet of paper. Brooke's note. Colored marker. 8 years old. I turned it over. A new post-it had been stuck on the back, in my handwriting. Keep your word, even when they don't deserve it. I folded it again, slipped it into my coat pocket. The hearing was in 5 days, and this time, I wouldn't be the one explaining myself. The court ruling came on a Thursday. No press, no fanfare, just a PDF in my inbox, time-stamped 4:47 p.m., split custody, equal time, no spousal support, joint financial review, no mention of Marissa's emotional distress claim, no mention of the anonymous letter, and nothing, not one word, about that sealed envelope. I read the judgment twice, then closed the laptop and went for a walk. Outside, the sky was bruised with dusk, quiet, damp. My phone buzzed. Unknown number again. Voicemail. This time it wasn't Marissa. It was Brooke. Her voice was shaky, but not angry. Hey, Dad, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I saw the file, the test. Mom told me it wasn't true. But it is, isn't it? Silence. Then, you're still my dad. You've always been my dad. Click. I didn't replay it. I didn't need to. The next morning, a small box sat at my doorstep. No return address. Inside, a folded hoodie from Lake Crescent. Kid size, washed, faded, and a card. One line. He still kept the photo. It wasn't signed. Didn't need to be. 2 days later, I showed up at the courthouse, quiet suit, coffee in hand. I asked to speak to the clerk, signed 3 documents, filed 1 motion, then walked outside and called my lawyer. 12 years of marriage, I said. Let's end it right. You sure? Absolutely. We redrafted the agreement. I waived half the assets, asked for no child support, kept joint custody, kept the house, only because Brooke still had school nearby. Added 1 condition. The court would seal the genetic findings permanently. No appeal, no record, clean break, no blood, no parade. A week later, I saw Marissa, by accident or fate, outside the same dance studio Brooke used to attend. She froze, clutching her phone like it might bite her. I nodded, nothing more. But as I passed, she whispered, "Why didn't you destroy me?" I stopped, looked her in the eye, calm. "Because our daughter already knows who I am. That's enough." She didn't follow. That night I lit the fireplace, sat on the couch, hoodie in hand. The photo from Lake Crescent sat framed again, upright this time. Not because I'd forgiven everything, just because I'd remembered who I was, a father, and someone who didn't need a courtroom or a fight to prove it. The gentleman's revenge isn't loud, but it's always personal. If this felt personal, make it personal. Subscribe now, and don't miss tomorrow's story.